Subway is revamping its sub club, and franchisees are not too happy about it. Fast casual chains might finally have met their match in this tough economy, and Fat Brands is in danger of bankruptcy after a lender demands it pay back over $1 billion in debt. Welcome to Quick Bites, the show where we try to cover all the restaurant headlines in as little time as possible. I'm Sam Oches, editor-in-chief of Nation's Restaurant News, joined by Jonathan Mays, editor-in-chief of Restaurant Business. Jonathan, it's the holiday season, but things aren't too cheery in the restaurant industry right now.
No, they are not, especially for fast food and fast casual brands, Sam.
That's right, and we're going to get into that. But first, we have to talk specifically about Subway. Subway is revamping its sub club, and it's offering customers a free footlong sandwich for every 3 that they buy. Franchisees are not too happy about it, Jonathan, and as you reported, some have even called it financial suicide. Do we think that this program could work?
That is the $490,000 question there, Sam, referring to Subway's average unit volumes in 2024, according to Technomic. That it very well might work, but the question really is whether it will work for franchisees. The problem, according to operators that I've spoken with, Sam, is that you can effectively get a triple discount or triple credit. You can get a sub sometimes on a deal through the app. That would count towards one of the 3 subs that you can collect to get the 4th sub free. And then you also get points on your loyalty program that can be used for later goodies. Franchisees who don't make money as it is were really up in arms by a long shot. Some 95% plus of the comments that I've seen on an internal website were anti-program, so they were not thrilled. Sam, what do you think about it?
Well, first thing I'll tell you is that if franchisees are not happy with their franchisor, then it's not going to work. Any franchise system, you have to have that good relationship between the franchisee, the franchisor, where they can come together and agree on a path forward. And if franchisees are not happy, and they're the ones who mostly have the skin in the game. In Subway, it's all the skin in the game, as it's 100% franchise system. If franchisees aren't happy about it, then there's an issue. Look, Subway's biggest problem is profitability. To your point, Jonathan, they make less than $500,000 per restaurant, which is way less than the average sandwich chain or really any other chain. So if profitability is a problem and you introduce a loyalty program that is going to perhaps eat into your profitability, you have an even bigger problem. Now, look, I think loyalty programs, of course, are very, very important right now. Subway has had issues with loyalty in the past. They had one where they had a bunch of fraud. They discontinued that. Then they had basically a simple points system where you could get money off. It's not a bad idea to explore new ideas for loyalty to drive some excitement, but you've got to find one where your franchisees can embrace it and actually make some money. That's kind of important in this industry.
And by the way, they're making less money this year. Their sales are down by quite a bit based on what I've heard. So things not great in the Subway system. Speaking of not great, the fast casual category, heretofore bulletproof in any recessionary talk, suddenly having some issues. Chipotle, CAVA, and Sweetgreen all had a tough third quarter, and sales and traffic data show not that much better so far. Sam, what is wrong with the fast casual sector?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, Jonathan, because for the last 15 years, fast casual has been the cool kid. It's been kind of the new kid on the block. It's got all the excitement, all of the energy. There's a lot of innovation that happens at the fast casual level. But as with any category, any industry, any business, at some point you have to grow up. You mature and you start to have some issues. I think fast casual's biggest issue today is saturation. It's not just 1 or 2 brands out there dominating the field. You have hundreds of fast casuals out there vying for customer attention and business in an economy where customers are pulling back, seeking more value. While fast casual does offer some value, they, fast casual brands especially thrived, I think, in the Great Recession because you saw people trade down from full service so that they could get better food at a cheaper price. Now there are just too many options out there. The term, Jonathan, I keep hearing these days from a lot of folks is this term sea of sameness. A lot of brand leaders saying that the category, especially fast casual, has become too similar similar across all these brands vying for customers' attention. Some have used that slop bowl term I hate so much. Fact of the matter is, you have to be differentiated enough to get the customer's attention. Fast casuals are having a problem with that. Jonathan, what do you think the problem for fast casual is?
Well, first of all, I think the problem is the sound effects that we got are a little odd. Anyway, so the issue really boils down to either a combination of tough comparisons or individual chain issues. I don't know that this is a fast casual problem per se, because look at Shake Shack just did strong sales. Noodles and Company doing okay. Potbelly just got bought by a convenience store chain at a decent value for them. Look, I mean, Chipotle, the issue really goes back to the portion size controversy that they've been dealing with over the past couple of years. I think that is finally catching up to them. You got to fix the operations. I think Sweetgreen's issue is a cost worth value situation that they have, and it's ultimately at the end of the day salads, and salads really are kind of a challenge. In CAVA, it's just really, really tough comparisons. It's really difficult to actually appreciate how strong their sales were last year, especially on a 2-year basis. So honestly, I don't think it's any major long-term issue. I think this is just a tough economy, and some of these chains have some issues, Sam. That's my...
Yeah. Yep. Jonathan, I agree with you. I don't think fast casual is going anywhere. I'm not too worried about it, but, brace yourself. The next 6 months or so could still be tough for that category. All right, Jonathan, finally, we've got to talk about Fat Brands, the parent company to Fat Burger, Twin Peaks, Johnny Rockets, and about a dozen other concepts. It's in danger of bankruptcy after a lender demanded repayment immediately of $1.3 billion in debt. Jonathan, how dire is the situation at Fat Brands?
Well, that would be dire on balance. When a lender demands full payment of a loan, effectively calling a loan, that gives the lender the right to foreclose on the assets, which effectively would be Fat Brands assets. Their money-making assets would be the franchise system, basically. And that's a problem. In short order, Fat Brands missed a payment in October because it did not have the available funds. There are all kinds of signs that they have financial problems. We've written about a couple of lawsuits involving the marketing fund by different franchises that they operate. And look, the issue really is much more complicated than we can really cover in a minute. But effectively, they just have too much debt. They went from 0 to 1.3 billion. Well, not zero, but they went just their debt levels when they bought all these restaurant chains in 20 and 21. Their debt levels skyrocketed. The market has been really tough since then, and that makes it very difficult to pay that kind of debt. Really pretty simple problem there, Sam.
Yeah, you're right. Jonathan, you reported, their leverage to the hilt. I mean, it's interesting because a couple of years ago, I think we started to see a lot of activity in the M&A market, and we suspected you would start to see this sort of arms race as groups gobbled up all of these brands to try to leverage scale in whatever the post-COVID future was going to be. Fat Brands was one of those. They started gobbling up all of these brands. The problem is that wasn't actually too effective of a solution. And the other problem I would suggest for Fat Brands is the concepts in its portfolio, they're not really that exciting. I don't mean to be mean here, but when you're looking at Fazoli's, Round Table Pizza, it's not like you have these brands that are suddenly surging with customers and driving excitement in sales. They have a collection of so-so brands that hit the wall of the economy like every other brand did. And so when you have that combined with this debt, you're in a really sticky situation. So 16 brands, I think, by my count, that's too many brands in one portfolio. And when you've leveraged that much and you have so much debt poured into a system of unexciting brands, something's going to come due. It's due now for Fat Brands. I certainly expect things to get only worse for that organization going forward. Maybe this be a warning to others that want to cobble together a bunch of brands for the sake of scale. It really doesn't work very well. All right, that's all we got for today. He's Jonathan Mays. I'm Sam Oches. If you want more on these headlines and others, you can go to nrn.com and restaurantbusinessonline.com. Have a happy holiday. We'll talk to you again soon.